Today we are going to be talking about the color wheel and some color theory, and we really wanted to start here because this is a really good priming point for understanding the relationships between colors. So color relationship is really important, especially when you're talking about all aspects of life, whether it's nature, photography, cooking, engineering. It's really important to understand the relationship of colors. So especially in nature, when you get to think about flowers and how complementary colors in flowers indicate one type of species. You have fishes in the sea who they have all kinds of complementary colors, and then you have similar colors, which are analogous colors. This is really important for you to take note of because if you'll notice, the way you dress can relate to the color theory, the way that you sew, the way you do projects, even building and carpentry has some color theory in it as well. So if you're at all interested in design, nature, photography, cooking, this is going to be a really great starting point for you to learn the relationships between colors and why they matter. All right, so now we're going to start our color theory and color wheel activity. Here are your supplies. You can definitely follow along with the printable PDF or the instructions that came in the box. We're going to start by painting our primary colors. Primary colors are important because these colors don't need any other colors added to them to be pure. They are also the base for every other color on the color wheel. Your primary colors are going to be red, blue, and yellow. So you can start painting. You never want to start painting with a completely dry brush, so you want to take a little bit of your water and get your brush wet. You can always dab it on the paper towel to get out any excess. But we're going to go ahead and start with blue. I recommend starting with just a little bit of paint, and then if you need more, go in. If your paint gets a little thick, you definitely don't want to get, don't panic, any blue. Just put a little extra water on your brush and go over. Show you later on that you've already painted, and you can thin it out. The sections even everything. Get it nice and perfect next to those lines. I think a lot of people would be surprised that a white trick for your paintbrush is to try and get most of the paint and then they probably think that all other colors start from white or black, and it will bleed out towards the ends and give you really straight lines. Start from primary colors. You'll kind of notice and go over later why that if you stare at one primary color for too long and then you stare at another primary color, it can be really harsh on your eyes. This is definitely why you want to put down some paper, maybe some old newspaper or wrapping paper from Christmas leftover, because the best part about painting is that the funnest part is you get to be a little bit messy. Alright, so these are all three of your primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. And you'll notice that this is exercise 1 on your handout. So then you're going to want to go ahead and let that dry just for a couple of minutes. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so now that that's dried just a little bit, you're going to go ahead and paint your secondary colors. Your secondary colors are orange, green, and purple. So on the color wheel, it's purple, orange, green. Once again, you don't want to go in with a completely dry brush, so feel free to get your brush a little bit wet, not too much, but it just helps the paint go on really smooth and even. Okay, and now our last secondary color that we're going to add on here is the purple, my favorite secondary color. Your primary and your secondary colors are going to be some of the most common colors that you see, not only in the outdoors, but as well as design choices everywhere. When you definitely think about your favorite football team or your favorite baseball team, most oftentimes they're going to have uniform colors that are a primary or a secondary color. This is because these are the purest colors, which means they're really easy for your eyes to recognize. They also can be very balanced, and they go with a lot more things. We'll go into kind of what it means to be a complementary color. Complementary colors, you will always notice that complementary colors are opposite each other on the color wheel. For example, red and green are complementary colors. Those are the colors of Christmas time. You'll notice that blue and orange are complementary colors. Something to note that I mentioned earlier, for example, with sports teams, is that most oftentimes their uniform colors will be a primary and a secondary color, and they will be complementary primary and secondary colors. And that all goes back to color theory, that those are the easiest colors for your eyes to identify, and they also balance each other really well. That's why they're called complementary colors. Now, analogous colors we're going to go into a little bit is that when you start filling in these other white portions of the color wheel, which we're going to do right now, analogous colors are the colors that are always next to each other. That means they're very similar, right? So if you want to do a gradient or a gradual progression of the colors, that's what analogous is going to help you do. Right, so we talked a little bit about analogous colors and why those are your intermediate colors, because those are going to be your colors that are in between your primary and your secondary colors. Like we mentioned earlier, these are the colors that are going Another really common example of that is grass. Not all grass is the same green. You've got lots of different beads of grass that are different types of greens and different shades. My math is wrong. You do have to use math in art, kids. to get a little bit more precise as you get to the last colors on your color wheel. Alright. So this is your color wheel. You want to give it a chance to dry before you complete the other parts of the activity. It shouldn't take it more than 5 or 10 minutes with this type of paint that you're using. And you definitely want to keep fingers off of it. So if you've got little brother or sister running around, you might want to put this in a high spot to where you can let it dry fully. Okay, so now we're going to assemble the rest of our activity. You're going to put your bigger circle directly in the middle. You'll notice that you either hole punched or there's a hole for your brad. You'll put the middle directly there. And then you will place your smallest circle directly in the middle where that hole is. I'm going to lift this up. Gently poke that. You'll flip it over to the back and put your brads, one on the right side, one on the left side. Secure them, and you'll flip it over. Okay, so this is interactive, which means it moves around. You can tweak it however you want, but it will show you which colors are complementary. It will show you your analogous colors on this side. It will show you another group of analogous colors. It will show you split complementary colors. And then something that we'll also go over is your triadic colors. These are colors that are of equal distance on the color wheel. And then your tetradic colors are using 2 sets of complementary colors. So for instance, these colors, blue and red purple. If you were to do the complementary colors here, blue and orange, and you're going to have another split complementary combo of red, purple, and yellow, green. So these colors will complement this pair. They will also complement this pair here as well. So if you need a 4-color combination of complementary colors, this will be a helpful tool for you to figure out which colors you should use in your painting.